Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to continue with professionalism and ethics, and we're going to look at how one applies professionalism and business ethics. Adapting an ethical and professional framework will guide businesses in making the correct decisions. There are 4 steps that can be followed to assist a business to be professional and ethical. Number 1, they need to recognize the ethical dimension involved in that decision. Business owners or managers all too often fail to take into account the ethical impact when making decisions until it is too late. Before making an informed ethical decision, they must recognize that an ethical situation exists and must consider ethical forces at work. For example, honesty. Is this fair? Have they had respect for the community? Is there a concern for the environment? The second step is that of identifying the key stakeholders involved and determining how a decision will affect them. So stakeholders are often in conflict with one another, putting the business in a position where it must choose which group to satisfy. Managers must sort out any conflicting interest by determining what each stakeholder stands to gain or lose from the decision made. While this will not resolve the conflict, it will prevent harm being done accidentally. Let's move on to the third step now. So the third step is about generating alternative choices and distinguishing between ethical and unethical responses. Although this is not always easy, experience will help find more options that are also ethical. The last step is choose the best ethical response and implement it. There are always a number of ethical choices to pick from. Compare these choices with the ideal ethical outcome, and then try and make a decision that is consistent with the company's goals, culture, and value systems. We're now going to move on to what we mean when we talk about good and bad decisions. Our understanding of right and wrong comes from the values we believe in. In many cases, ethical issues are clear. For example, if something is against the law, it's clear that it is unethical. Ethics involve what is right or wrong, and then doing the right thing. But the right thing is not always as straightforward as it may sound. Good decisions are those decisions that are ethically correct and will also benefit the business without harming others. Bad decisions are not always unethical. It can be the result of the wrong information that's been given. A decision that brings in lots of profit but is based on unethical business practices is bad. In the long run, no business can survive if its policies and way of doing things are unethical. So decisions are based on the information that we have available at the time. Whether a business decision is good or bad depends on the following. If it is the truth and within the law, if it is fair to all stakeholders, if it is not harmful, and if you and others will be proud if someone found out about your decision. And this takes us to the next point. I really like this 3-point test because it helps you decide what decision to go with. So the first one is, will it clash with any existing laws in the country? The second question to ask yourself is, will all stakeholders benefit from this decision? And if not, how badly does it impact a certain stakeholder? And then the last decision is, how will it make me feel? Okay? Will my family be happy if they found out I behaved like this or I made this kind of decision? I always say to the boys that I teach, what would your mother think? So if your mother could see you now and your mother could be in your head going through those decisions, what would your mother think? So if there's a negative answer to any of these 3 questions, then the answer is simply no, you cannot make that decision. I hope that that has helped a bit in terms of how we apply professionalism and ethics in the business world.